attention. Your biggest alibi in life will always be your attention. One word, something so simple, something that seems like not really a big deal, right? It's just a regular thing. Let's look at the regular day-to-day of your average human being, okay? We wake up and we start here. Now, first thing that we do, we may look and we check our phone. So, bang, right here, we're looking at our phone and we see what's going on Instagram, right? So, let's just say social media. That's the biggie. I'm gonna switch this marker. First thing that person may do is go ahead and check social media. So at that point, right in the beginning, you're not even setting the tone. Social media is setting the tone because it kind of depends on what you see. Maybe you open up your timeline and you see people fighting, you say chaos, so it's like, okay, well, that's what's out in the world now, it's chaos. You see, something nice, cute little baby, something innocent, so you see, there's innocence in the world, maybe you see a friend that's doing good, and you're like, all right, shoot, your friend's doing good. Or maybe you feel the opposite way, and it's like, damn, we're doing all this, and look at where I'm at right now, Regardless of, it depends on, sure, how you look at it, but what you're looking at is what has your attention. That's how you started your day. So, person wakes up, they look at social media, and then they roll around and they sit and think, all right, what do I have to do today? So this will be your responsibilities. And responsibilities could be, let me not make that a dot. Responsibilities could be, I have work. So you know what, I'm not even gonna call this responsibility. I'm gonna call it what it is specifically. And specifically, you have work. So you get up, look at social media for a little bit. All right, nothing like a good dose of social media to get your brain awake. And then we look and we think, all right, now I have work. What do I have to do? I gotta get there at a certain amount of time. You gotta, you start brushing your teeth and everything, and bang, bang. So really, you're basically on autopilot. Once you've made up your mind, the realization that you have to go to work. So you do your autopilot, brush your teeth, I need food, okay, same thing I do every day. I get in my car, and go ahead, let me drive to work, and then you're at work. So again, let's say awareness of work, and then you work. You're working, yada, 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 basic 9 to 5, do what you gotta do. You're like, damn, I cannot wait until I finally get off the clock and then I can do what I wanna do. Or, I have some things that I need to handle, some errands that I need to do. You're basically just thinking about, all right, let me just get through this shift, right? Just do what I gotta do. So everybody does, we gotta work. All right, so let's go ahead and get to the end of the workday. Then we finally get to the end of the workday, and let's say this person has some errands to do, right? Responsibilities. But we're gonna call this specific responsibility errands. Right, I have to go shopping, I have to, get some groceries, I need some things for the house, I gotta do this, do that. And then you get back home, you cook, dinner, and then you wind down, right? This is what we'll call this, the wind down. And that may be, you're cooking dinner, you get a little drink, maybe you smoke, whatever your vice is. If you have a vice, maybe you just have to, well, I guess everyone has a vice, but, drink, maybe you smoke, maybe it's just relaxing, maybe it's just talking with your partner, maybe it's doing some reading, whatever it is that you feel like relaxes you, that you have to wind down. But that's such a big thing is, we go through our day and we have this to do and then that to do and then this to do, all these ups and downs. So by the time you finally get home, You can release. It's you're glad to finally be back home, to just relax and just do nothing, basically recovering from your day. That's what so many of us do. We recover from our day and then sleep. Recover from your day, you're tired, maybe you have to get back up early tomorrow, and then you go back, you go to sleep, and you go ahead and you do it all over again. Whoops, I'm by where Alright, that's our basic day to day. Wake up, social media, maybe not everybody, but I've definitely seen it's a recurring thing, but social media, and then, alright, I gotta go to work, it is what it is, another day, another dollar, alright? You get up and you go on autopilot, just doing regular things. I gotta brush my teeth, that's what everybody does. I have to, do this, do that, throw on my clothes, alright? I have to drive there, you get to work, lock in, just doing what you gotta do, another day in paradise. You get off, I have some things that I need to handle, and then you have your wind down time. I can finally relax from all the other things that may have gone on in between this time, because maybe it was something from social media that you saw that irritated you. Maybe, as we were doing autopilot, something dropped, or, you were looking through the mail and you saw a bill that you had, and oh shoot, now I gotta handle this. The small stressors that seem to add up. Maybe you're at work and something happens at work, a boss irritates you, you have a frustrating employee, just whatever. And then you get back, you're doing your errands, maybe while you're doing your shopping, you don't have quite enough money for something, or you realize how much money you are spending. So there's that financial stress that goes on throughout the day. So by the time you finally get back home, after having to put attention to this and then look at that and then look at this and then look at that, there's that time that you need to just literally recovering from the day, to mentally recover from focusing on all of this stuff. And then at that point, you're tired and it's time to do it all over again. And we get into this cycle, and this is what some people call the rat race, right? And that seems like that's where the majority of people are, what we're stuck in. We may do this Monday through Friday, and then we have the weekend. People look forward to the weekend so much again because it seems like a wind down time. It seems like I finally have time to myself now. After doing all of this stuff and focusing on all these other things, I can finally have that time. However, some people still have errands. Some people still have work, but generally. That would be your regular and what some people call the rat race. Now, outside of this, we may have the person who is awake, right? The awoken one. We'll say awoken. And I'm gonna put this in quotation marks, and we'll see why. So, the awoken person, they wake up, and we're not gonna do social media, right? Because they know all this stuff that's going on with social media and everything, and they want to avoid that. So they awake and they want to, let's see, what's your normal awoken person doing? They'll wake up and just give them some time. Maybe, they are meditating or something like that. That's great. Just keeping their mind clear, we'll say meditate. All right? Not really sure why they're meditating, but people meditate. And then the next thing they do is work. Is this gonna be helpful to write out? Am I wasting my time? You know what? Yeah, I changed my mind. I did think I'm wasting my time. I have another way to make this clearer. I don't need the awoken path. But yeah, it's funny enough, it's the same path. It's just the way that you're looking at it. Now, the awoken person can look at this and they'll still say, all right, I see social media. But the way that they're looking at social media now instead is saying, ooh, you know what? Social media, it's a trap. It's a trap that people are using now, and it's all meant to control you, and there's the Illuminati that's behind the social media, and they're trying to do this and do that, right? So you see things coming up and you're like, oh, it's this person that's doing that. You want to track it down and find out who exactly is behind the social media portion, right? That's your awoken person. And then they have the awareness of work, but instead they're thinking, ooh, this is, the 9 to 5, this is how they catching me, and this is the system, and it's the man that's doing this to me. I'm aware that the man is doing all these things, and whoever the man is, we're gonna work and try to figure that out. And then, autopilot, which is just while you're thinking about all these things, getting ready for work, and then you're at work, and you're looking, you're like, damn, this, stupid rat race, they make you worried about taxes, and we could all just stop doing taxes. And then, I know this, the boss has the boss's boss, and it's all just me being being a piece on the chessboard. It's all part of the system. We gotta break out the matrix, right? They're aware of this. They can look at things and say, it's this and that that's doing things. And then obviously they still have their certain errands that they need to do in order to maintain their lives, but they're still, again, looking at the background as of what's going on behind the scenes. Now, again, still holding your attention because you're still looking at social media. You're just saying, all right, it's the elites that are behind it, and this person's doing this, and where are the Epstein files, and where is this, and where is that? You're still looking for these things, aware of it, but you're still looking for something. You're still looking at what they're guiding you to. And then again, with work, even while you still have to go to work, even though you're aware of work, and it seems like we don't have to do this, we shouldn't have to do this, why are we doing this? Again, you're looking at the man, and who is this, who are these people that are behind this, and the system, and it's still being guided to something. And even still, let's say, in terms of your errands, in terms of your food and what you're eating, you're more aware of it. So instead of you just eating anything, you're saying, okay, we're worried about these plastics. And then you hear on the news, or you're searching, doing some research, and you find out about cancer and certain things. So you're saying, all right, so this has cancer, and this thing is bad, and I have to look for this. This thing is going to be bad. And, the news is giving you out all these things, or maybe you get a little bit more information on the Epstein files. So now you feel like you've gained something, you've added something. But again, the reason why I say all of this, right? The reason why the awoken person all of a sudden seems separated, seems liberated, but yet they're in the same position as the regular person, the regular 9 to 5, the one that's within the rat race, is because, again, your attention. Your attention is your biggest alibi. And regardless of what you claim that you're looking at, and you claim and say that you have that power and you're choosing it, are you really choosing it? Is that truly what you want to be looking at? Is that truly being used to your benefit? We'll have our day-to-day where we're so locked into the 9 to 5, and then once we look at it, we can say, oh, this person's doing that. We'll have things on the news now where all of a sudden they say the plastic, so that feels like it's giving you control. Now that I know that there's plastics in here, I can do this and I can do that. But again, it's just another way to capture your attention. Throughout life, we're daily reacting to things. We have to handle this, we have to handle that, we have to handle this, we have to handle that. We have so many people nowadays, which I love, we're taking some steps, who are just aware, We're aware, and we'll say, I feel like I shouldn't be having to live this way. We'll say, me having to pay for all these taxes, we shouldn't have to do taxes, let's just all stop paying taxes. It doesn't happen, but we're talking about it, and we're just aware of why is life so hard, and all the things that are going on. But again, we still have our attention and our energy on other things, external things, or maybe we just don't have the time to focus on it, because it is what it is. We are aware that we shouldn't have to go to work, but at the end of the day, my bills still have to get paid, so I still have to go to work. But it's just a consistent control of your attention. And that's how they get you. So if you truly want to be independent, you truly want to have some control in life. It's nothing that's physical, it's nothing that's outside of you. The only thing that you need is attention. And attention very well changes the life that you live in, the life that you're experiencing. And they know that. The people that may want to keep things rolling how they're rolling, I'm not going to concern myself with who they are because, again, that's attention. Why am I really worried about that? I'm going to worry about myself. However, the reason why they keep you, the way that they keep you from focusing on you, as of you being that main power, you being able to sit with yourself, is because they want to have your attention. As long as they have your attention, they have everything. They have your control. They have your focus. We go through our day and it seems like we're no longer intact with emotion. I did a separate video on this. I'll pin this just in terms of a deeper understanding on emotion, but emotions are truly your communication with God. It is the language of God, that language of your higher self, your deeper self, that feeling that's inside of you, the connection to everything else that you have outside of you. But now it seems like you have to worry about finances and something that's going on social media, and then you have to go to work and you have to do this and you have to do that. You're being pulled constantly. Your attention is being pulled constantly. Your emotions are being pulled constantly. It's a consistent pulling of your attention. Now that we're aware of that, how do you get it back? Simple. You choose to. You choose what you want to look at. The more that you look at it, the more it starts to show up. Maybe you don't see it out there, but you start looking for it, and when you look for it, you'll find it. For example, let's say you recently just bought a new car, right? Everybody's seen this. It seems like the perfect analogy, whether it's your car, family car, someone else's car, whatever. You recently get a car in your life, something that seems to all of a sudden have importance. And the next thing you know, it seems like you're seeing it everywhere. Right? I just got my car, I have my Honda, then as I'm driving around, it seems like, oh, there it is, there it is, there it is, there it is. I see my car everywhere. It's not that all of a sudden when you got that car just ended up appearing. All of a sudden everybody was buying the same car. That car has always been there. But it's just been a car. It doesn't mean anything to you. It has no importance to you. But all of a sudden, once that car has some meaning to you, once it's something that feels attached to you, emotionally connected to you, something that you're looking at every day, something that's associated with you, then all of a sudden you see it everywhere. And the same thing works with your attention. Once you put your attention focused onto something, then you start to see that thing everywhere. Now, the biggest thing in terms of attention, let me clear this off. As we connect this back with your life, the things that you want in life, because that's why we're digging into this and we're learning. Just learning for the sake of learning is amazing. However, I would love for you to learn in terms of getting back some power, in your life, some more control in your life, some more freedom in your life. You choose what that looks like, but realizing that you have the ability to choose. So, in terms of using this attention, having control in your life, as we know, there's a desire. There's always a certain desire, a certain desired reality, a certain life that you want to live. Now, we may think that, okay, in order for me to have this reality, I have to do this, I have to do that. We have certain beliefs that we have already on that life. However, what we want to do is create a new belief that aligns with our reality that we want, our life that we want. Once we have that conviction, we have that solid belief, that solid knowing of that, and we're able to live in that state of being, then our physical reality comes into play. So what we want to do is focus on that belief, and in order to focus on that belief, you need to focus, again, your attention on that. And funny enough, if you notice, as we go throughout our day, life is constantly pulling you outwards. There's constantly a reaction to life, because life is something that happens to you. Alright, that's what we believe, that's what we focus on, that's how we live, is that life is something that is constantly happening to you. So there's always something that's going on. Something that's always pulling you outside that you look at. So, just for you to understand what that actually looks like, what you're actually looking at. Okay, draw a card. Tried to. This looks kind of bad, but it's a car. It's a windshield. Ball is, let's say it's a person. Yeah, let me get ahead. Okay. Now, this is what your attention looks like. What your attention actually is. This is you. You are a lighthouse, right? You're a lighthouse. Obviously, we would say like our eyes would be a light, and we're looking out in the dark and we're looking at all of these other things, you know, these things that are happening externally from us, because that's where life always is. It's external. So in terms of our desires, we have, all right, this car that we want. Kind of looks like a bug, but it's a car, I promise you. We have this car. We have money that we're looking for. We have this, you know, a girlfriend, a certain love interest, right? We're looking out and all these things seem so shiny to us. It seems like separate from us. It seems like this is what I want or what I need. This money is something that I need. This relationship, this person is something that I need. In terms of our desires, we're always looking externally to this, that, and that. Now, you are shining out. You are the lighthouse. You are shining your light of attention on all of these objects. Once you shine your light on that car, it seems shiny. It seems like, oh, there's the light, because that's what you are. You are a lighthouse looking for light. You look out, you shine, and you see a car, and you're like, oh, okay, look at that. That's the thing that I want. That's what I need, right? Your light is shining out, and it reflects back at you, and you see the car. It looks like the light, something that's shiny. Same thing with the money. You look out, it seems like something that you need. Your light is shining off of the money, and it looks like, oh, look, there's light. I need that. That's what I need. Same thing with the relationship. You look out and you're shining and you see that person that seems to be shining to you, and really, again, it's your light. The thing that you're looking for is literally what you're looking from. You're looking for light, and you are the light looking for light. Everything that you're looking for that seems to shine to you is literally just a reflection of your light already. You are truly the temple. You are the light. You are everything that you need, everything that you're looking for, everything that is on your vision board, everything, all your desires, the things that you admire, the things that you're putting your attention to the things that you want that seem so externally from you. Everything on your vision board is you. That's it. It is literally you. Everything that you look at that seems to shine is just shining the light that you reflected on it. It's literally just reflecting your own light. Now, that's why attention seems to be so external, right? There always seems to be this separation from us and the things that we want, from us and the things that we don't want. You know, the things, because you can again look at that from the same point of the things that seem negative, the things that we don't want in our lives. They seem to be reflecting back at us when really it's reflecting back a belief that you have. It's something that's tainted in your light. You know, maybe you have a certain filter that's on your lighthouse. You know, you have a green filter, so when you shine out, things look a little green. You know, so you see things that are bad. I guess in this term, I'll use red because normally red is connected to something bad. let's say we have our filter, which is on our light of our lighthouse, and as our light shines through, things seem red, so they seem bad. This seems to be happening to me, this is happening to me, this is happening to me. When again, that light that you are is simply shining out, going on that bad thing that you want, that thing that seems bad to you that's happening in your life, those circumstances, that your own light shines off of that thing and reflects back to you. And that's what life seems to look like. Life is literally just a reflection of you, a reflection of your own light. And that is for your desires, and it is also for your undesired, for everything that's going on in your life. Simple as that. Now, I guess at that point, when it comes to, the people that are saying the system and, keeping you down and all of that, yes, to a certain extent, it's definitely the case, but the way that it's being done is with your attention. Again, we don't want to worry too much about the problem. We want to be aware of the problem, because once we're aware of the problem, it doesn't matter who is doing the problem. Again, your experience is going to be from your light. So once you're aware of this, you already have all of the power that you need. You don't need to be aware of something and fight and take back anything from anybody, because you already have everything that you need. The only way that you can possibly be controlled is your attention. It's what you're focusing on. Because what you're focusing on is what you're living. The way that you're looking at things, the way that you are, is what life will be for you. So if you're constantly worried about the external, the things outside of you, literally desires and undesires, that's what life is. It's pretty much it. And the things that may just seem neutral, the things that seem like the glue of connecting, everything around you. But there's basically the desires, the things that you want in your life, and then the undesires, the things that you want to avoid. And that is literally why you do everything. The way that you think, the things that you do, is literally always for a certain feeling. And that feeling is going to be because you want to have a certain desired feeling. Right? You want that relationship so you can feel loved. You want to have friends so you can feel like you belong. You want to have this job so you can have a certain amount of power. Or you want, to feel secure, to feel comfortable because you have a certain amount of money. Or you want to do a certain, music or art because it allows you to express yourself so you feel free. You feel that creative flow. There's always an emotion. In the same way, the things that you don't desire, I don't want to be broke because I don't want to feel like I don't have any power. I don't want to feel powerless. I don't want to feel out of control. I don't want to feel in danger, because not having money feels like danger in this world, because it's how, it's how it's organized. Things are transactional. So if you don't have the money in order to handle, your bills, or in order to eat or whatever, then that signals danger. So there's always an emotion behind the things that you desire, behind the things that you don't desire. It's everything that you're looking at. It's always your attention, and your attention is always externally. It seems like life is happening to you, right? Life is going to do what it does. Things happen. So now once this thing happened, I have to look at it and be like, damn. I can either say, all right, so this thing is happening to me, so now I need to react and fight back. I need to do this, I need to do that. I need to go out there externally in the world, and I need to change it. And then once I change this external world, I'll feel differently. Once I chase down this job, or I make this person stop acting a certain way, then I'll feel better about myself, and I'm good now I'm comfortable. I need to chase this money that's outside of me, and then once I chase and find this money, then I'll feel better and I'll feel differently now, right? It's the outside world that's happening to you. Things just happen. I need to react to how it happens in order to make myself feel better and find something that works out for me, right? That's how it is when we're going for our desire. And then even in terms of us just trying to go throughout our daily life, having this connection, this understanding, this awareness of life is something that's happening to me. In terms of the undesires, the things that just seem to happen, it's, why is this thing happening to me? We can either just react, or we can question it and be like, why is this happening to me? Okay, well, I guess it's because of, this person, or I guess maybe I should start doing this a little differently. But again, there's that separation of saying that this is something that's happening to me. I need to change something externally out there in order to have this happen. Or maybe it's just literally in the case of, all right, I have things that I want to do for myself. I have things that I want to change about myself, but I don't have time because you're constantly going throughout your day reacting. We have a large amount of people that have this newfound awareness of things that are going on in the way that they're being treated, in the way that they're being controlled. However, no time for that. I still have to go to work. I still have to do this. I still have these bills that are coming in. I still have to survive. And surviving is literally just reacting to the external in order to stay afloat in the external. So our attention is forever outside of us. Our attention is coming from this lighthouse and scanning and looking around to see what's happening outside of us. What are the things that we want? How do I get to these things? How do I avoid these things? I want to make sure that I'm aware, that I'm planning in order to get to these things outside of me externally. I want to make sure that I'm planning and preparing to avoid certain things. You know, I want to have insurance for this thing that's going to happen outside of me. Don't even get me started on insurance. But you're just always looking at these things that are outside of you. The life has a way of constantly pulling you, nowadays to reacting to things that are outside of you. So your attention is never on the thing that is the most important, which is you. In terms of the desires and the things that you want, it is never on the intention, the actual light that is shining off of these things, the actual light that you're looking for. It is never looking here. The awareness is never here. And honestly, while yes, life does constantly have this way of pulling you, it's a completely different way of how we look, a completely different way of how we function. It's like from your face. You can't see your actual face, but you're always looking from your face. You're always looking from your eyes, but you can't actually fully see them. Even when you look in the mirror, you're looking at a reflection of yourself, but you're not truly looking at, yourself. So it's like we naturally got into this flow of being externally and looking outside of us when the thing that you've always been looking for is right here. And the thing that you've always been avoiding, all these undesired things. It's funny that sometimes we'll say, okay, we need to change our external world then in order for us to not deal with these problems that seem external. So we move to a whole different country, to a different state, whatever, and we have like this new life that we're gonna build. Yet somehow that same life that you had at that old place seems to just follow you, because no matter where you go, you will be there. And you're still looking with the same light. So even if it seems like you're looking at different things, that light shines off and reflects back to you, and it has the same filter because you have that same filter. It's going to be the same thing that you were looking at before. It's going to give you that same feeling that you were looking at before. When all this time, it was you. You are the light that you've been looking for. We say the temple of God. We say you are the temple of God. We say the kingdom of heaven is within you. That's you. We say, heaven on earth. Heaven on earth is something that we can have right now instead of it feeling like something that you need to go up to or ascend to after death. It's something that happens later. You can have that now, heaven on earth. But then we take it another step and say the kingdom of heaven is within you, because again, instead of you looking externally, you realize that that light, that thing that you've always been looking for, regardless of what seems to be that physical thing, that thing has always been you. You are the temple. And once you go inside of that temple, you find heaven. You find God. Because God is within you. God is that light that's inside of you. Hard to understand, right? I know it seems very different from how we live our lives, but again, even in the sense of, a religious standpoint, I do believe that all religions are just different sides of the same die. They all go to the same point. Whatever path it is that you want to follow, whatever it is that resonates with you, that's fine, as long as it does its job of giving you that power. As long as it allows you to truly live the life that you're looking for, the life that you want, you're able to create and align with whatever it is that you want, then cool. It doesn't really matter how you do that. You don't have to look at things the same way. As long as you are truly benefiting from that, as long as you are truly being, what it is that you're capable of. As long as you're truly interacting and understanding and living from that light within you, it doesn't matter how you do it. It doesn't matter what you call God, him, she, it. It doesn't matter the way that you look at it. It doesn't matter if you look at multiple gods, whatever. What matters is your understanding of who you are, you having that connection and that being within you. It's all about your own personal power and you being aware of that. It doesn't really matter. Now, the thing is, unfortunately, is that religion, how we've gotten to look at it now, is there's always, again, this thing that you're looking at. We have another being here in terms of religion, which is God. And God is outside of you. God is separate from you. And again, unfortunately, this has become another source of control. Another source of control. Something that seems to give you power. It's kind of ironic in a way once you look at it a little bit differently, is again, something that seems to supposedly give you power is again, separating that from you. It's giving away your power to something outside of you. Again, taking that light that's within you and you're shining it on something else. So you look at God, but again, it's reflecting. And the thing that you're looking at, that God that seems so external, is within you. That's why it shines so bright for you. You have that emotion, you have that feeling. It seems like something that's so, something that you feel like you need, again, because of all these undesires in your life. So again, God seems so powerful because it seems like, an escape from these things, something that can free you, something that can save you. But again, unfortunately, something that's separated from you, when again, what you're looking at is coming from you. That is literally the reflection of you. So, again, your attention. Your attention is literally always going to be the main thing, the main source of control. And then if you really would want, your self-independence, that self-power, that's all you need is your attention. And your attention is yours. You can choose what you want to look at. Simple as that. I can be looking at, this mask that's right up here. Maybe you see it, maybe you don't. It might be a little bit too low. Whereas the mask right here, I can consider that and say, all right, this is what I'm looking at. And then I have the choice to say, you know what? All right, I'm done. I'm going to look at this one now. All right, I'm done. I'm going to look at this point right here. That's where my attention is. And you know what? I'm going to make another dot right down here. Now this is what I'm looking at. I didn't have to get rid of this. I just look at something else. And now I'm looking at this one. I don't need to move any of these things. I don't need to destroy them. I don't need to push them. I don't need to do anything with them. I can simply look at something else. Your attention is a superpower. Your attention has been something that seems so diminished in terms of importance. It's just whatever. But we don't really understand that your attention is truly, truly your superpower, your biggest alibi. Truly. And then even just in terms of your day-to-day, because, your energy, you may say, I'm so exhausted. And, unfortunately, at the end of the day, it seems like we need to, release. And then at the end of the weekend, it's like we're living for the weekend and then we can finally, relax. And it's like we're taking off and we have to shrug off and get rid of all of this stress that we went throughout the day and all of this stress and pain that we seem to collect, and as we know, stress seems to physically age you, and the reason why all of these things seem to pull you down so much is because, again, your attention. You didn't have to put attention on it. Let's say, I use this scenario a lot, that you're in traffic, somebody cuts you off, flips you off. No, somebody flips you off, cuts you off, and flips you off again, right? Now in traffic, that happens, and it is this thing that's right here in front of you. And actually what we'll do is we react. We look at it, we give our attention, and we say, yo, what the hell? What is this person doing? What are they doing? This person seemed to have attacked you, right? And you react. You may start beeping, you start screaming, road rage, or maybe you don't even interact with that person, but it just, it really pushed your buttons. It really got you aggravated. So then again, that's just one small thing, So let's say, I'm gonna leave this for the sake of, I just want to, but in terms of you, this is literally what your day-to-day looks like. This is what you're allowing. Because again, it's what you allow. Life will be what you want it to be. People can only truly control you if you allow them to. Nothing less, nothing more. Now, this is you. You know, we wake up in the beginning and let's say clean slate, right? So we have that one event that happens, that traffic event, right? You see that, maybe you don't interact with the actual person. You don't go and try to grab the dot and move the dot, but you look at this dot, that traffic situation, and oh, you know what? All right, it irritated you a little bit, so then you gain some irritation. And bang, your bar starts to fill a little bit. And then as we go on throughout our day, maybe let's say we go to work, right? You have a customer that comes, you have this dot that's right here. And with that customer, they're saying, you know, they're just being a dick. You know, for some reason they're being super rude and they're saying, oh, and I need you to do that. And no, you're supposed to do this and do that, right? And they're just pushing your buttons. Again, you can't, I'm assuming, hopefully you don't if you want your job. I mean, you know, it's up to you. But you can go ahead and move this dot, you know, go ahead and interact with that person, you can fight back with that person, but maybe you decide, you know what, no, I like this job, I want to keep this job. But that person irritates you, they really, again, push your buttons, they stress you out, so bang, you get a little bit more added to it. And then we continue, the ball keeps rolling, and now you have a family member, you know, you have a little brother or something that calls you, and starts to irritate you, they're bugging you, I don't know, let's say you already didn't have money, I decided to erase it, I changed my mind. But anyway, let's say you have, you know, your little brother that's calling you about something, maybe you already didn't really have too much money, and now they're like, yo, I need some money for this, or I need some money for that. And you're like, didn't I just give you something? But yet, you know, they start to get all super extra and just start to bug you and annoy you, right? It seems like someone always wants something from you, and then we added a little bit more, right? And all these things just keep on happening. No, let's go ahead and add one more, right? Because this is literally what's going on through your day. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen in terms of less. I've seen it happen in terms of more. From myself as well, obviously, right? But let's say we keep on going. Another event happens, and what's this one? Let's say you see something on the news, right? We love the news, the glorious, glorious news. Let's say something happens on the news. It could be on your phone, right? You're looking, sometimes we get notifications. It could be social media, since some people use social media as news nowadays. Or maybe you're turning on TV and you're looking at the news. Something happens and we're like, damn, all right, another shooting happened. All right, damn. Another shooting, you know, something happened and now it's like chaos in the world. Basically, that's what it gave you. You have the look of specifically, you know, the school shooting, but then deeper than that, what you're really just looking at is chaos. And then deeper than that, what that, you know, that moment in time, if you're looking at the news, is instilling in you is there is chaos in the world. The world is chaotic. People are evil. There are evil people in the world. You know, that school shooter. You know, you just see chaos and you see violence. And more stress, because the world sucks. And there's so much killing and so much violence in the world, and there's so much chaos in the world, and things just keep on going on, and now you feel bad, you know, about those people, and there's so many people that are losing their lives, and you see more news, something else happened, and there's a fire, and life just sucks, and things just keep on going on, right? So you have all of these things, I'll say negative. Again, there is no truly negative or positive. Every time I write that or say that, I'm going to make sure that's clear. But just in this terms of understanding, you know, we'll say deconstructive, but negative, there's something that looks or feels negative for you, you know, in terms of so much trouble in the world, right? So much of this negativity, so much killing, so much, you know, so much stuff that's going on in the news. And then even just in your own personal life, you have that annoyance of your brother, and then you have that traffic situation, flip you off, cut you off, flip you off, right? You have all of these things, all of these dots, all of these points of attention that are happening. Your bar just continues to fill up. By the time you're at the end of the day, this is you, and all you can simply do is focus on, I just need to release this. You know, I have this weight on my shoulder. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to worry about anything. You just sit down, You worry about whatever your vices are. Maybe it's just sitting down, on your couch and watching TV. Again, maybe it's smoking, maybe it's drinking, maybe it's reading, whatever it is, right? But you just need to have this vice. You just need to let go, you know? And this is a cycle. And we do our same thing. We release and do the same thing the next day. Or maybe all of these things happen throughout the week, right? They happen throughout the week, and then I just can't wait to finally get to the weekend. So again, I can release all of this because you gained this, and this, and this, and this. That's what it looks like. That's your day to day. Or that's your week to week, whatever. But most of the time, a lot of the time, unfortunately, it's a day to day thing. All of these dots, all of these things that seem to be happening, we react to it, we give our attention to it. And again, what it gives us back is this stress, this negativity, and it builds up on us and it breaks us down. And that's something that keeps us down, that keeps us pushed down, right? Now, on the other side, again, as I said, your attention is fully yours. So one of the things that you have complete control over, believe it or not, is your attention. So let's say these dots don't go anywhere, because they don't. The dots are just the dots. I don't have to move these dots. I don't have to control these dots. But instead, this situation still happened. That traffic situation, someone flipped you off, cut you off, and flipped you off again. But instead, you're like, silly, right? You look at him, and instead of you taking that as, an attack, taking it as, all right, now I need to get down to his level and deal with him now. Instead, you just look at it, you see him as a child, right? A child that didn't have the awareness at the moment, because that's all it truly is. People are just acting from the awareness that they have at that moment, whether it was something that was intentional or unintentional. This doesn't have to justify behavior, but just in the terms of understanding what it is truly, it's simply a person doing their best from the awareness that they have at that moment. So instead of me bringing my awareness down and bringing myself down on that person's level, I just look at them as a child and shake my head. Just silly, what are you doing? Silly goose. Now move on. And instead of focusing on it, instead of looking at it, instead of giving it my attention, the dot still exists. It's still there. I just don't look at it, right? I don't give it my attention. I don't give it my energy. So then, suddenly, this clears up. It never filled up. And same thing with our next dot. We have, what was next? That person at work that irritated us, right? That person that was trying to push all our buttons. That person still comes, still shows up, but again, I look and I don't interact with it, because it's just, again, somebody coming from their own awareness. They'll learn things when they need to learn things, in terms of karma. Again, not saying positive, not saying negative, but people simply getting reflected back what they give. And that person is giving out a certain thing. You don't have to be that person to, all right, you're going to get one today. Because again, that's taking away from your own peace and adding to this negative bar. So instead, you don't give it attention. You let that person yell at themselves, let that person be upset, let them do whatever they're doing. You keep your peace. You don't accept any of that energy. You don't give it attention. So in turn, it doesn't fill up. You don't accept that. And same thing on the other side, that news that happened. Yes, there was still a shooting somewhere in the world. You don't have to say these things aren't happening. It's not about being oblivious and saying that these things don't happen. Yeah, sure. Maybe you looked on, the news, even though you didn't watch it, that thing still happened. I don't have to be completely oblivious to it, but I don't have to have that emotional tie. I don't need to give that my attention and give myself the understanding or the belief that the world sucks and there's chaos and there's this and there's that. Yes, sure, that's out there in the world in terms of everything existing. In the world of infinity, there's a million things, a million possibilities. So yeah, sure, that's one of those possibilities. That's one of the things that exist. However, that's not my life. That's not what my life is. There is chaos somewhere out there, sure, but my life is not chaotic. My world is not chaotic. My world is not filled with violence and evil and so much trouble. That's not my life. You don't have to put your attention on it. So I'm not erasing the dot. I'm not trying to push the dot away from me. I'm not trying to say this dot doesn't exist. It exists. It's right there. But I simply don't give that my attention. So then it doesn't add into me. It doesn't get filled. And it's no longer a part of my bar, no longer a part of my energy. And again, with the last one, I don't even remember what this one was. Let's say it's something else that you see on the news. One of the plenty, of things that seem to be detrimental to you or destructive to you that, one of the plenty of things that we put our attention on. Instead, we decide not to give that our intention or attention. It's just something that's there, something that exists on its own outside of you. And bang, it's no longer a part of you. So in this way, we could have went throughout our day, right? With all of these things still happening, still having a place in just the world, still having a place in these things that are seemingly outside of you. But just, in life, in the universe, these things are happening, these things are there, but you didn't give it attention. And in turn, it did not affect you. It had nothing with your energy. Your life is still what you say it is. So at this point, it's empty, right? Because again, that's what your awareness truly is. And that's why you can do what you want with it. And that's why it's the biggest alibi, is your attention can literally go to a blank slate. Because that light that was inside of you, that being that you are, that you truly are, that you're living from, that light is being reflected through, it's just awareness. Simply just awareness of it. Not defining it anything, not saying it's good, not saying it's bad. That's why I'm very critical, I guess, on the sense of not saying specifically positive and negative on things, because they aren't. That's our definition to it. That's our relationship to it. That's what we want it to be. But awareness is always just simply a blank slate. So in terms of your attention is empty, it's neutral. It's just you looking at something and you choosing what you want to look at. We have these things that we deem negative in our day-to-day life, things that seem deconstructive to us in terms of our experience, our relation with it, which can be changed. But for these things, we don't need to change them. Why would you want to change them? It doesn't really matter. It's a waste of your energy. In this case, we just don't give attention to it. So instead, when we wake up with our seemingly clean slate, while all of these things are still happening, in this life of infinity, there's a million other things that are also happening that I can put my attention to instead. So let's say I wake up and, it's a brand new day, and I wake up on time for work, right? Let's say I have to go to work. And I wake up and I can see I woke up on time. Something as small as that, something as simple. I can look at that instead and put that my attention and say, you know what? I made it on time for work today. I love that. I don't have to rush. I've definitely been there before, or I had to, panic and everything, and I have to do this and I have to do that, but I woke up on time. That's great. My life's a little bit more simple. Bang, 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 bang. And let's say throughout your day, you're walking and someone gives you a compliment. Someone right here says, "Oh my God, I love your hair." And I'm like, stop, stop, but it makes you feel good. Something small little moment that you put your attention on, and bang, 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 that fills. So you have this moment of gratitude. And it's funny how seemingly it seems like more and more and more and more and more of this is happening. But what I want you to realize is, in terms of these dots that we're looking at, nothing is being created. Literally that. Nothing is being created. In terms of what we're deeming as negative right now or what we're deeming as positive, none of these things are all of a sudden brand new coming into life. They already exist. There is infinite. This board right now that we're looking at, that's coming from you, that you're seem to be experiencing, it's infinite. Everything and anything is in there. So once you look at something, then all of a sudden it applies to your life. Then all of a sudden it seems real, you know? Because as we had before in that demonstration of chaos and this traffic happening with this person and then that person at work, you know, this is what I'm looking at, this is what I'm feeling, this is what seems to continuously happen. And it's funny how all of a sudden it seems like when we're having a bad day, we wake up, we stub our toe, and then this happens, and constantly it seems like a snowball effect. All of a sudden our life is terrible. All of a sudden bad things just keep on happening and happening and happening. Once we put our attention on the negative, then all of a sudden more and more and more of it seems to start showing up, and it seems to be everywhere. But again, it was already there. The only reason why it seemed to be real now is because you looked at it, you focused on it, and now all of a sudden that becomes your experience. And then again, the same thing on the positive side. I guess another way to write this instead would say, you know, we're having gratitude, right? In terms of positive, we say have gratitude, give thanks, give thanks, give thanks. And the more as you have gratitude, the more that good things happen, the more that good things come to you. But I want to take this a step further of realizing that it's already there. It's just the more that you're allowed to experience it. The more that you give thanks, the more that you are aware of it, the more gratitude that you have, the more that you look in this direction, the more that you notice is already there, and the more that you experience. It didn't show up out of nowhere, it has always been there. So as we're looking in this direction, our attention is being put out this way first, and we have this experience. We have our attention already in this way, and all of a sudden in this field of positivity, something seems to become our reality. This thing seems to happen, but it was already there, we focused on it. It points in this field of positive energy, of a higher frequency, right? So now we were already looking at this one thing that happened. I woke up on time, I got this compliment, you know, I'm having a great day right now. I'm living in gratitude, I'm filled with gratitude, and at this point, you know, with all my attention on gratitude, my state of being at this point is settling in gratitude. That's where I'm looking from. Again, with you being that lighthouse, the filter that you have on your light is green, it's positive, it's my life is good, my life is peaceful, my life is generous, my life is abundance. You are that lighthouse that's shining through that filter of peace, positivity, high frequency, whatever it is that you want, that you desire in your life. And your light is shining through that filter. It's looking out at all these things, and it seems to reflect that light back out to you. So all of a sudden, everything that you're looking at seems to be this positivity, seems to be things that are useful to you, that are constructive, you know, that are positive. So then again, something else happens. You're at work, and then all of a sudden someone tips you $20, right? You're just doing your normal day, you know, you're just happy, you're just enjoying yourself, you're just doing your job, and again, something else seems to happen, something seems to solidify in your life, right? Something else solidifies, and you have another beautiful experience, and things seem to keep going that way. Right? So now, instead of that like draining you at the end of the day, you're energized, you're calm, you're at peace, you're happy, because everything that you're absorbing from the outside world, all of your awareness of it, was on the positive. And again, this is all due to your attention, and your attention is fully your choice. Did I have to get rid of any of these? No. It's still there. It still exists. You know what? Matter of fact, I'm gonna make a few more. Right? A few more negative things, bad things that happened in this life. You know, there was a fire over here, and, you know, there's layoffs here at this job, or, you know, whatever, right? There's just a bunch of these dots, more bad things happening in the world, because that's another thing too, in terms of your attention. We have this thing called toxic positivity, right? Toxic positivity. And in terms of that, we'll say, oh, you're being too positive, and you're completely ignoring the negative and saying that it doesn't exist. While one hand, what I will say, because there's a balance between it. It's not all the way on one side and it's not all the way on the other side of the spectrum when it comes to toxic positivity. On one case, there's still the awareness that there's these things, right? There is still the awareness. And again, as we know now, there is no negative, there is no positive, there's just things, there's just energy, and energy is infinite. There's an infinite amount of possibilities, but in terms of our understanding of the world, we say negative and we say positive, just in terms of, categorizing it to what we want in our life, right? That gives us a way of having a direction and where we want to put our lives, with things being the feeling that we want. In order to steer our lives correctly, we label things positive and negative. So I can steer towards the positive and I can avoid the negative. So there's an infinite amount of these everywhere. So yes, there is the understanding that it exists. Yeah, it does. Not inherently, but in terms of my understanding, yes, there's an infinite amount of negative things that are out there in the world. Yeah. While there's also an infinite amount of positive things over here that exists. Infinite amount of positivity, of good things that can happen in my life. They all exist. Now, with your attention, your free will, right? Because that's really what that free will would be, is your attention, you being able to focus on what you put your attention on. While yes, I can admit that these negative things exist, I do not have to give them the attention. I don't have to give them my attention or my intention. I don't have to let those things emotionally affect me, in terms physically affect me. They don't have to be a part of my belief. They don't have to be a part of my identity. And in terms, they don't have to affect my light. And if they don't affect my light, then they do not affect my experience of what I live. And even in terms of, let's say something seems to happen, because yes, sometimes it may seem like life, things seem to happen randomly. I'm not saying we have to literally put a definition on every single thing. This is what's going to be useful for you, so it's not really helpful to add a definition to every single little thing, because you may not really have the time or the energy to construct and maneuver with every single thing. But let's say there's something that does show up, that may seemingly seem negative, but really what it's just showing you is that light. There's a reason why you're looking at it, that okay, maybe I'm looking at it with a certain filter, so I can instead have this thing that happens here, and it goes in front of my attention and I notice it. But instead of pushing this over to the negative pile, I look at it and I say, you know what? All right, I guess I was still, thinking about this situation this way. Or maybe let's say it's something with your relationship, right? With your partner, because your partner is, it's funny that we do admit pretty often that your relationship, your partner is like a mirror, and they're just mirroring who you are, right? You're truly looking at yourself when you're looking at your partner, but that applies for everything. But with your partner being somebody who's around you 24/7, I guess it gives us a way of understanding that, of seeing that, but it's funny. But let's say you have that relationship and something happens, right? But then instead you stop for a second, instead of just looking at life, something happening to you, you look at that and you say, damn, you know what? Yeah, I guess I was kind of getting irritated when I was looking at that person, but it was kind of because I already have this feeling, this emotion like about that certain topic that we were talking about, and it makes me look at that a certain way, and that's why I had that feeling, or why I reacted a certain way, and then they reacted to how I was reacting, yada yada yada. So instead of just taking that as something negative, I looked at it and I learned from it. I'm able to adjust that, I clean off the filter a little bit, so then in that way, all of a sudden it's something that's positive, right? Because I took that thing as an obstacle, as an opportunity for me to learn. I took it as data instead of taking it and throwing it in a negative pile. I made it constructive for me, because that's what we want our attention to be, constructive. And we take it and bang, we made an adjustment, and now it's a positive throughout our day. We were able to clean off our lens a little bit more in order to allow us to experience more of the beautiful positive light that we're shining. Allow more of it to be reflected clearly as of what we truly want to experience, where we're truly shining off. Your attention is literally as powerful as this. Whatever it is that you're experiencing in your life is based off the attention that you give. And your attention starts from you. You are the lighthouse. You are the light that you're looking for. You are the temple of God. That temple is you, and the God is inside of that temple. The kingdom of heaven is inside of you. And it simply comes down to your light, and your light is your attention, what you focus on. So in terms of reality creation, when we say it's your being and changing your state of being, you change your state of being by changing what you're looking at. What you're looking at, what you experience, is going to be what fills up. And all of these are layers in terms of your conviction. So let's say I'm saying I have a beautiful life, my life is amazing, or whatever. You look at these things and you choose to have your attention on things that are instilling that conviction behind that belief. Then every little thing that happens is bang, conviction, more conviction, more conviction, more proof, more proof, more proof, more proof. And this instills your state of being as of, yes, this is what life is, because this is what I continuously see. And what you continuously see is what you're looking at, is who you are, is your state of being. It's coming from your quality of light, not even your quality, because your quality doesn't change, but your filter of light, and it reflects back to you. And at that point, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. We do that with the negative. We start our day negative. We say this day is going to suck. So we already made our projector. We already put on our filter. And then we shine out that red light. It shines off the things. It shines back to us. And we say, see, look, the light is red. So that our light continues to stay red. And we keep shining red. The red light keeps coming back at us. And at that point, we're saying that life is bad. So I feel bad. So since I feel bad, I keep shining a bad light. That light reflects and I get more bad, so I keep staying bad, right? I keep feeling bad and I keep getting bad back. When really, you shine what it is that you want to experience. You shine that positive comes back to you. So then in turn, you say, all right, now I feel positive. And you get more of that positive, and self-fulfilling prophecy. So in terms of us living in the physical world and being more used to the physical world and taking the physical as proof, in this way, that's okay. We make it constructive. It's no longer a liability that we're, looking at the outside world as proof, because we're producing something that's going to give us back positive proof that instills more of that belief, more of that clear, green, filtered light that we want, and more of that green light shines back at us. The more it shines back, the more we can give. Your attention is your biggest liability. Your attention is your biggest ability, your biggest alibi, your biggest power, and your biggest control. And you have full control.